month starts off with a bang as Mars moves into perfect alignment with the longer running Saturn-Uranus square. Mars's alignment with these other two planets has been building for the last couple of weeks, during which time a condo building tragically collapsed in Florida, likely killing more than 150 people. Now, astrology can't predict an event like that, but it can tell us something about the symbolic resonance of it. Now, across all dimensions, whether psychological, spiritual, or material, Uranus has to do with sudden change. Saturn has to do with structures and rigidity. So one of the classic signatures of a Uranus-Saturn alignment is sudden breaks, sudden collapse. And we saw this with the metro overpass collapse in Mexico City a few months ago. We saw it, of course, with the condo building collapse. And we see it too in the rise in violence lately, which has been up everywhere, and particularly mass shootings. You know, people just snap. So Saturn-Uranus is a hard energy because it's jagged and jolting, and it's about change and preservation, and something's got to give. Now, when Mars comes into alignment with these other two planets, it's even more intense because Mars brings activity, it brings action, it's a catalyst. The alignment of Mars, Saturn, and Uranus is a volatile mix of hyperactivity and reactivity and resistance. And it can, we can see people split into opposing camps and just projecting a bunch onto one another and ready to fight. So it's important to remember at this time, first of all, that whenever Mars is involved, energy is active. Fires are burning inside of us, and we need to find a constructive outlet for that energy. Very often, it's as simple as that. You feel irritable, go exercise. You'll feel better. You won't bite somebody's head off. So exercising, doing hard work, particularly, when Mars and Saturn are together, it's about kind of resistance type exercise. So even just pressing the palms together, doing squats, push-ups, plank, that kind of a thing where you're mixing rigidity and force. Mars and Uranus, that's great. Uranus with Mars, like sudden bursts of activity. So just came to me right now, maybe something like the high intensity interval training type stuff, if you've ever done that, where it's a short burst of really intense, high resistance type of exercise, and then you rest. For me personally with Mars type stuff, I do a lot of intense breath work. And if you just do something like this, you will be less irritable. The energy will have a constructive place to go instead of kind of scanning the environment looking for an enemy, because that's what unhealthy Mars does. Also, meaningful work. Saturn is about stuff that means something and stuff that's important, and Mars is about action. Uranus, of course, is about liberation, and one of the struggles in Uranus and Saturn times is that we got to do work, but we don't want to because we want to be free, and we feel oppressed by the need to do some kind of work. But what we can think about is how to constructively deploy our energies, in a measured way, that's Mars, Saturn, to bring the greatest amount of freedom possible. What is the price we need to pay for freedom? What limitations do we need to agree to in order to access more freedom? And then let's put our energy in there, Mars. So also at the beginning of the month, Venus will be aligning with these planets as it moves into conjunction with Mars on the 13th. Now that means that all of this energy is going to particularly land in the area of relationships, which is Venus's domain. So before you get freaked out and think, oh no, my relationship's going to blow up, just think about the fact that we're coming out of pandemic times. Life is resuming more of a sense of normalcy. And this is 4th of July weekend coming up. And a lot of friends and family who have not seen each other for months or maybe, over a year at this point are going to probably going to get together, right? And during this time, we've been very comfortably ensconced in our own perspectives and seeing in the news or on social media what other people are into or believing or feeling, but we haven't had to confront it directly. So here we'll be coming together, right? And this is going to happen more and more, and this is a good kind of marker time of it, a holiday weekend, the first where we're really able to kind of all get together. And that's bound to see some clashes, but it's also bound to be exciting. So this is all kind of wrapped up with Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus. If you think about Venus and Mars have a great chemistry with one another. It's the kind of active social pursuits, active pursuit of fun and pleasure, creativity. It's passionate, it's enthusiastic, and it can be a very fun type of an energy, but it can also run pretty hot, and there might be flare-ups. People might be quick to anger, but also quick to make up. It's a good time to dance, have fun, have sex, whatever, fight a little, make up. Great, okay, Venus, Mars. Now, with Venus, Uranus, there can be a sense of renewal to the relationship. When things have been kind of stultifying over the last year and, a year and a half, I think, over the last year and a half, finally a breath of fresh air, rebirth, renewal. That's the Uranus dimension. Now, Saturn is a trickier energy. Saturn Venus aspects, can make us feel isolated and lonely. We might feel little pings of that isolation, that sense of, oh, I've been so separate from these people for so long. Oh, maybe we don't quite understand each other anymore. Maybe we don't know how to relate. Feelings like that could come up, but it's also, and this is the deeper dimension of Venus Uranus, Venus Saturn. Commitment is a really essential factor here, and it can be a time to reaffirm our sense of connection to one another and our sense of lasting importance in one another's lives. So it's a complicated mix, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, a couple more things with that. Venus connects to the arts. So if you are artistically inclined, with so much kind of intense energies seething internally and externally, it can be a great time to work some of it out on canvas or in sculpture or music or whatever. And Venus Uranus can be very inspired, given to sudden out of the box ideas and lots of color and activity in the art. Mars and Saturn like hard materials, and so if you're feeling all the tension and anxiety or whatever that these harder aspects are producing, it might be a good time to just go Jackson Pollock and just throw something at the page. Thinking with hard materials, Mars, Saturn, maybe throw a can of nails at a piece of styrofoam and see what happens. Just make sure nobody's around. Now, later in the month, let me just see when that is. Yeah, July 22nd, but it'll be building up for about a week and coming off for about a week. Venus will oppose Jupiter. And so Venus will kind of move on from its alignment with the rest of these planets, where we might feel, say if we're artistic, right, we might feel some inspiration, but it might be kind of intense, and Saturn might be kind of blocking us in our ability to execute. It comes into alignment with Jupiter, it might feel like sudden resolution. I found the solution to the problem that had me stuck, and we might become suddenly prolific. As regards relationships, if hard things have come up, as they're bound to the more people get together, if hard things have come up, there might be a sense with Venus Jupiter that things are kind of smoothing out a bit, and that we're learning to get along together again. Venus Jupiter can bring just kind of happy, positive vibes with it. At the very end of the month, Mars will move into opposition with Jupiter, and that'll move for about a week in and a week out. And on the positive side, Mars Jupiter can grace us with just tremendous reserves of energy. We feel like we can take on the world, we can get stuff done. It's just like, yeah, we feel alive. It's a great time to get outdoors, explore. Jupiter's all about expansion, Mars is all about forward motion. So it's a great time to combine physical activity and mind expanding or perspective expanding pursuits. Just watch out for the way that our egos can kind of flare up with this, because Jupiter can be very connected with grandiosity, and Mars is me, I want, I see, I get, I do. And it can be a very arrogant kind of an aspect, and also very self-righteous, kind of crusading, militaristic type energy. So as far as nationalist type people and really militaristic type people are concerned, I'm not too thrilled when I see this alignment during this time, given what goes on in the collective and all the collective insanity that there is out there. But for the rest of us, it's a great time to just get out and be active and expand our minds a bit. So it's an exciting month. It's a month of tension. It's a month of possibility. It's a month of working stuff out and hopefully finding some nice resolutions. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, leave your comments, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks.